Quite a lot, to be honest, Wilf, which we'll go through now. But first of all, the appearance itself was off camera at the courtroom in Boston. It was at 10 a.m. this morning. There were some reporters allowed into court, and they described him being brought in a brown jumpsuit. He was handcuffed. There were several members of his family present. One male member of his family was in tears as those handcuffs were taken off. He then had the charges read to him, and he was charged with possessing classified documents pertaining to national security and possessing national defence materials. Now, these carry a 12-year imprisonment term, 3 years supervised release and fines. Now, the question is whether or not prosecutors, when they put together their case, will try and apply those terms, those charges to each individual document. And if that's the case, well, if found guilty, then Mr. Teixeira would face an awfully long time in prison. It was an 18-minute hearing. He was re-handcuffed, sent away, taken away by US Marshals, and then, as you say, he will appear again next week, where bail conditions will be discussed. That was the physical court appearance, but alongside it, this affidavit was published, was unsealed. This, effectively, in layman's terms, is the FBI's justification for the arrest, and in it, some hints, some real detail on how they tracked this man down, why they believe he is the leaker, and how they tracked him down to this rural corner of Massachusetts. It has been revealed in this document that they, on April the 10th, so on Monday this week, they sought and interviewed another member of the closed chat group, which Mr. Teixeira is alleged to be the leader of, 20 or so people, into which he leaked these documents. That member of the chat group gave them quite a lot of information, said that he knew what Mr. Teixeira looked like because they had engaged in video chats, among other things as well. The witness, the FBI witness, as he effectively is, was asked to look at different photographs and identify Mr. Teixeira, which he did. The FBI managed to use to cross-examine different bits of data to determine that the account that was being used by the person who had uploaded these documents was linked to the billing information for that account was linked to a person named Jack Teixeira at the address at which they then arrested him. So a lot of detail there, and also confirmation that indeed he did have top security clearance, which was granted in 2021. And that he would have signed a lifetime binding non-disclosure agreement in which he would have had to acknowledge that unauthorized disclosure of protected information could result in criminal charges, as it, of course, now has done, and also that he had top security clearance to what's known as sensitive compartmentalized access, SCI, which is a higher level of classification. The question now is why he had access to that sort of information.
Indeed. And Mark, how have various different US officials reacted to the developments today? I guess we have heard from the president now. He took his time to give a clear statement on this issue.
He took his time. He was clearly being briefed through the course of yesterday, which may explain why he seemed to turn up late to every event that he went to in Ireland on his trip. But today, a statement from him, I'll read it to you. It says, "I commend the rapid action taken by law enforcement to investigate and respond to the recent dissemination of classified US government documents. While we are still determining the validity of those documents, I have directed our military and intelligence community to take steps to further secure and limit distribution of sensitive information, and our national security team is closely coordinating with our partners and allies." So, I mean, he says there, we're still determining the validity of these documents. I think it's pretty fair to say, given the content of this affidavit, that these documents are valid. They are the real deal. Otherwise, this wouldn't contain all that it does. But clearly, the American government and others need to be cautious. They don't want to admit openly that, yes, this is all real information. So that's the president. The Attorney General, Merrick Garland, was asked about this at a separate news conference he was giving on another issue. Here's what he said.
The Department of Defense is leading an important